Deluded Guna makes a run down the left wing. He goes on the underlap. He eyes it up. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
Morning, people. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Let's go.
You always use that active when defenders have been given like.
People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good morning to those of you like myself in England. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night to those of you around the world. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday off the back of a solid Monday. Hope everyone's fit and healthy, and I'd love to extend that to your loved ones. As usual, wishing you lot the best in terms of your goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, people. Let's have a week to remember. Appreciative to everybody who's tuned in. Obviously, shameless plug. It's same day, different toilet, innit? We're here at 10 a.m. We go over to YouTube at 11:30. We come back over here at 7:30 because it's Champions League business, innit? It's Inter Milan versus Liverpool, Liverpool versus Inter Milan. I'll be doing a watch along on Twitch for such. Love to have you lot here. Now, I think it's a formality that Liverpool go through, but we hope there's some entertainment or not, depending on who you support. So yeah, as you already know, people, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's a big day for Europe. I'll be doing watch alongs for such people. If it's mathematically possible, I think on Thursday there's actually a Europa League game that kicks off at 7:40 at 5:45. So if it's possible to do that and the 8 p.m. kickoff, then we'll do that as well. I should have looked into it. Obviously, one love to everyone that was here yesterday. We spoke about the Premier League with the exception of Everton Spurs, and we're going to get into that. The Dele Alli derby. Disappointed if you was here to make Dele Alli the talking point. Everton are shambles, and I think, yeah, we're going to talk about that. You know, we're going to go everywhere in it. So, yeah, don't hold me to that. Don't let me forget that because I got a decent amount to say. Obviously, Rashford's been linked with PSG, allegedly, according to 90-Minute Football and Daily Mail and that. Arsenal, Atletico, West Ham, Newcastle. A lot of people are looking at Rashford. For what it's worth, you know what? I'm not going to move heaven and earth to say bring Rashford to the carpet, but I'm not against it, you know. Funny enough, I do think, you know, Rashford's decision-making is elementary. It's quite toilet. It shouldn't be. He's very much behind of a 24-year-old, and I think you can't blame the club. Clearly, the club could do more for not just his development, a lot of people's. You look at how Diallo's been handled, you know, really just gone on at Rangers. You look at how Rashford's handled, Martial, etc. But at the same time, you need to take responsibility for your own future. Is it, you know, in any other walk of life, you're not going to blame your organization or your manager for you maybe not earning as much or you not having the skills. In another walk of life, you lot are gonna go save up your wages, go and pay for skills to level up, go on YouTube and learn things. My point to say that is to say this. Obviously, these lot are working on their mistakes, but Rashford's at an age, you know, in life, you can't blame anyone but yourself. You know, you're at Manchester United. Whatever you say, that's the biggest club in the land. You know how much facilities and all these things you have access to. You've worked with the coaching staff and the coach of Louis Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho. You've had to learn from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You've been able to rub shoulders with Ronaldo, Cavani, Di Maria, etc., etc. You look no better than you was at 18. Even when you score goals, it doesn't look like you mean half of them, really. Your decision-making. And again, you never know. Being in a new environment could help Rashford a lot, but his decision-making is toilet. That being said, he looks like a guy that just needs a bit of confidence. I wouldn't mind him in Arsenal squad. You know, he can play off the left, can play off the right, where he's actually been scoring. I think Rashford on the right, stinky. Needs a lot to learn through the middle. And again, United are not selling him to us on the cheap anyway, so it's not going to happen, really. But we'll talk about that a bit more at Thingy. At 11:30. I understand why he's got concerns. If you're not playing for England. But for me, it's not like you're not playing without a reason. You're flipping shit at this moment in time, really. United are crap, but it is what it is. It says it all that Alanga plays ahead of you. Do I think you're better than Alanga? Yeah, but I see why Alanga plays a better you. He seems more intelligent on the football field based on the way he speaks after the game about why he took certain shots or did certain things. He seems more of a thinker. He seems more clarity over his decision. Rashford, You don't look like, you look like once you get into the final third, you shoot when you need to pass, you pass when you need to shoot, you try a lot of things that, you know. And again, to sum up his decision making, we did a watch along for Atletico Madrid versus Man United. I can't remember the exact incident, but it always stand out with me. There was like, the play was on the left and the right. Yeah, I think there was crosses going in, and then obviously Rashford on the left hand side. There's several options. You know, there's like 10 man. I'm exaggerating, but like 10 Atletico man. So what does he on this side? Most normal people would have said, you know, let's come out of that. What does he do? Looks up like he's going to switch play, turns back into the traffic. It's that sort of brainless decision making that is Mendy, really. Like, honestly, the fact that he's got this status for club and country, he's kind of stealing a living, really. You know, I don't think he's a bad player. He's just very reactive, lacking confidence, not where he should be. Again, I do think he suffers what a lot of these footballers suffer. What are you? You know, at many clubs, in many footballers, you know, to different levels, some doing better than Rashford. What are you? Are you a striker? Are you a winger? You was coming up, they were screaming you're a striker with the ability to play on the left. I think they just found a role for you primarily off that left-hand side, and it is what it is. You're better there than you are on the right or up front. So it is what it is with Marcus Rashford, if I'm completely honest. If I'm completely honest with you. Let's start making some timestamps as well, people. Timestamps. Rashford. Yeah, man, for what it's worth, I'd consider it. I wouldn't move heaven and earth, you know. Someone's got to keep Tomiyasu on his toes in training. Someone's got to clean Saka's boots and that. Why not, man? Obviously, we're going to get into Everton, but where's my manners, you know? Man are saying Arsenal by Rashford. No. To be fair, we've had some shit, man. Really. Big up DG. Everton have spent way too much in recent years to be in this position. True. Footy chat, shout out to you. I nearly dropped my phone when I saw the title. Keep Theo Walcott Jr. away from Arsenal. I mean, put some respect on Theo Walcott. He's probably ahead of even though I didn't necessarily think the world of Theo. I'm pretty sure Theo Walcott might have been a better player at this age than Marcus Rashford, if I'm completely honest with you. You know, a lot of the things what I cry about Theo, I see a lot of similarities. 1 minute you're a striker, then you're a winger, decision-making toilet, you know, confidence player. But I'm pretty sure Walcott did a lot more at 23, 24 years of age. And Rashford's not done yet. But at 23, you need to be coming into your own, really. And he's just not doing that, man. When even Arsenal fans don't want Rashi, he might actually be rubbed. They might. United fans, Arsenal fans are a special bunch. But nobody overrates players like United fans. I'm not going to lie. You lot were comparing this youth to Kylian Mbappe. You were saying that Wan-Bissaka is better than Trent. There was a time you used to say Eric Bailly / Maguire is talking to Van Dijk. You know, there's been a lot of criminal shouts along the lines with Marcus, Martial, etc. But he is rubbed. He needs to fight out of that, man. You know, I don't know what's going on. DG Rashford is robbed. Only effective for runs in behind and counter attacks. He ain't good enough for the top level. I would prefer Kareem Adeyemi as well. I wouldn't mind him at Arsenal, but all-round game is rubbed, man. I think we can bring him back. He's not a bad player and better than what we have. Better than what we have. You know, really at this moment in time, would I prefer to play Martinelli off the left? Yep. Would I prefer to play Smith Rowe off that left? Yep. If Aubameyang was still a thing, yep, but it's not. You know, after Martinelli, Smith, I'd probably be more open to playing Pepe there. You know, I like Rashford, innit? I just feel you shouldn't write off a man at 23 years of age. All he needs is a bit of love, and you never know what could happen. But yeah, I don't know about better what we have. He'd complement the squad, you know. Rashbeck could be a thing. We all know Welbs was decent for us off that left. I would not mind Rashford in the squad. And to be honest with you, he'd probably bag more goals over a season, regardless of how he does it. Probably then Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah. Well, not even a probably for Eddie. The only thing is obviously link-up play. Rashford's very reactive, you know. Again, you can tell that he's not really a thinker yet. He's got to been able to get to a certain level being reactive. And yeah, man, you can put the blame at coaches, but at some point you need to take your own responsibility. Big up, Rob. Yes, you should. Just saw the title as I came in. Wow, you're ready to just dash Rashford away. I think the brand has outgrown the player. Don't got time for knuckleballs and hearing about meetings with the mayor. I don't mind. Rashford, come and feed the youths, man. United love the kick and run merchants. James Rashford, I hear it. Nah, DG, you can keep Rashford for changing room morale. You man on it. Swap deal Rashford for Pepe. I'd rather that, man. No, the voice. I mean, every fan base has tap fans, man. Arsenal, Chelsea, everyone's got top fans, man. Tap fans. They try to say Hudson-Odoi's lit. Arsenal gas up players, and then they do weird things like Marie's better than Gabriel, Tavares better than Tierney. They writ off Odegaard. They called him Emil Smith kills flow or some shit like that. Lack of threat. And then they talk about new deals. They spend years calling El Nene shit, and then El Nene plays good in one game, and he gets them all touch videos. Fans want a new deal. Arsenal fans talk about being ruthless, but they're soft more time, you know. Soft. Arsenal fans love a stop. So we love keeping man at our football club for every reason other than football, you know, really. I know, man. Obviously, these tapped fan bases don't speak for every fan, but we've got agendas to run in it. Rashi is better than what he is currently showing, true, and there is a player in there, but his ceiling isn't as high as people make out. The decision making is atrocious. DG, is Rashford a victim of goals assist because his stats aren't awful, but it flatters his performance? That's what I mean by accidental drillings. You know, obviously you earned them stats, but I just think it's accidental drillings. Like even a couple years ago when he got like 20 in all comps, it's like you look at the catalogue of goals. Goals are goals, and I hate to be that guy. I hate when people talk about quality of goals. Goals are goals. But Rashi was taking some pens. You know, he's scoring when United are battering teams. He's scoring a couple of tap-ins. Like, it don't look like it's not calculated finishes, if that makes sense. It's accidental drillings. I definitely think shot in Rashford, there's a lot more problems at United than just that. I understand why he would want to go. I think when I saw the article, he's bemused as to why he's not playing. I was like, whoa, that comment is bemused in itself, man. I remember them talks. I wouldn't mind getting him as a plan C if plan A and plan B don't come out. We ain't getting Rashford. For what it's worth, Arsenal are not getting Rashford, man. I think Rashford could come good at the Emirates. And to be honest with you, he's seen as damaged goods, in it. You know, United are not selling him to us. He's gonna probably the wages for, you know, because he's still in England international and that the wages and everything ain't gonna match up. But he ties into what we're doing with the quote unquote young players and things like that. For me, I just think Rashford just needs a bit of love, and maybe being in a different project could help him. But I don't think United should sell him personally just yet. But saying that, he's contracted until 2023. He does have an extension or an option similar to Pogba. So it is what it is. Make of that what you will. Yeah, man. Who would you call a good version of Rashford? I don't know, bro. DG would get pissed if he was on the same wing as Rashford. Probably. But I'm here for when Rashford called Maguire Muppet. But as you see here, PSG want Rashford to replace Mbappe. Obviously, he's contracted until 2023. Apparently, Pochettino would like to keep him at Old Trafford if he succeeds. And I would, you know, I think Martial, I wouldn't want to even get rid of Martial. You know, if I was honest, Martial should come back into the fold, really, next year. But, Marcus Rashford is on the list of PSG lists of candidates to replace Kylian Mbappe. He's got 18 months left to run on his contract. Looking quite dapper there. Pochettino, innit? Sources insist Rashford has not made any decision and is focused on regaining top form. I mean, I don't think he leaves. I just think he's throwing his toy out the plan. You got to, respectfully, you got to man up. Because I do think it's, as a non-United fan, it's too easy to play for Man United. Again, you play shit, you should not play. You have no one to blame but yourself. You've been playing crap. To be honest with you, you've probably played a lot more games than you should have. So all you can do is pull your socks up. Should you feel hard done by? Should you feel unfair? Yes. But the first person, when things are not going well, we should look at ourselves. You hang around with dons like Lingard. You hang around with duds, you become a dud, Rashford, you know. Rashford, all you've done is change your hairstyle. Your decision-making has not improved. You need to forgive yourself for the lack of development, and you need to turn a new corner. You're 24. You're still young. But in the next 18 months, when you're 26, you need to be coming into your own. Are you a left winger? Are you a striker? Are you getting 20 league goals or whatever? Are you someone Man United can rely upon? You're Manchester United in England. You've got a target on your back. I do feel sorry for him a bit because he's a homegrown lad. I don't like when people question his commitment to football because he's almost stupid in the sense of, I don't know who the advisors are around him, but you always see himself delay. He's always delaying surgery and rushing back surgery and putting himself on the line for the team. So I know he probably doesn't want to leave Man United. And why would you? You've come through. You've been somewhat a main player, you know. Obviously, you've got the madman who should never play for United again, but excluding him, you've got, you know, Sancho, a couple of young players in and around the team, really and truly. But he would be gone, really and truly, you know. he's on some daddery stuff. But yeah, Pochettino's a fan of him. PSG explored the possibility of signing him last summer, but United had no intention of letting him leave. They continue to monitor him as a potential replacement for Mbappe. And again, we got to remember Rashford does like talking and does like allegedly putting things into the press. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is just aimed at putting pressure on the club for his future. I just think he's throwing his toys out the pram. He's forgetting he's lost his mojo and that. Yeah, that's a shout. Rafa Leao is also a better version of Rashford. That's a fantastic shout. And that's the same sort of angle as to why I would want him, because BU is here. I'm not really on buying Rafa Leao for Arsenal to be the main guy. I think he frustrates. I think he needs to develop. But in the squad, the ability to play up front and play off that left-hand side is useful. So I would take Rashford in the same way I would take Jonathan David and Rafa Leao. But I'm not being funny, man. I'm seeing my club still linked with Ollie Watkins and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I can't cap. I'm taking Rashford over both of them. I know Dominic Calvert-Lewin probably will score some goals, but it's toilet, man. Watkins is rubbed, man. It's rubbed, man. It's absolutely rubbed. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards, man. I would give Martial a chance, really and truly, but it does feel like something's got to change at Man United. It does feel like, obviously you go through Man United's team, and I've said this, and since the last time I said, Jonathan, you was here, so the last time we've said this, things have developed. I feel when you go through, there's too much of the blame game at United. There's too much people not seizing their futures, people shifting the blame, people acting like prima donnas. But for me, you go through the whole team. There's bare dramas. There's very few Man United players you look at and you say, all right, if there is anything to talk about, it's whether they're doing good or bad on a football field. You go through the whole team. Ronaldo, yeah, he ain't really been prolific, but there's a bag of antics there. Rashford, there's now some antics. The madman who, obviously, the VNs, there's some antics there. Maguire, there's antics. Probably De Gea is the only one. Obviously, not everybody, but De Gea is probably the only one where there's no antics. There's just something. There's some sort of mark or asterisk around these players. So these lot are thingy. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, meaty. I mean, I'd rather take Richarlison, but it's all meaty, if I'm honest with you. On the topic of Everton, we might as well move on into that, people, as well. On the topic of Everton, meaty. Hi to you too. DG, you said what every United fan was thinking, that Jesse Marcus sub was so meaty. I knew we weren't going to make it. That was, you killed it, when you took off Pogba. It's not like, at the time, Pogba was kind of quiet, but you lost anything. You lost something, in my opinion. I understood the Lingard and Rashford subs, but it was dead, man. Just tuned in, no to Rashford. DG, the team is drama school kids acting as football. And that's one thing I hate as an Arsenal fan. The last kind of one I saw was a Aubameyang. I hope we've turned the corner, but I can't tell you that in the next whatever, there's not going to be another bust up and story. I hate all of that. If Everton get relegated, that Dominic Calvert-Lewin thing is going to heat up. It should, really. I can't, you know what? As much as I'm not really on the Dominic Calvert-Lewin thing, for an affordable fee, I won't say no to it, innit? Because you have another guy in the squad and that. Obviously, at Everton, like, what players at Everton realistically will get moves? Obviously, the English lads will probably get moves. Pickford could probably finesse his way out of that. I don't really rate Michael Keane, but I think he'll finesse his way out of that. There'll be a team for him, either a new promoted team or something, even though if they saw the nonsense he was on yesterday, him, Holgate, all these men are crap. But I think that if there was anyone that I feel shouldn't play in the Championship, I feel Allen, I feel Dominic Calvert-Lewin can get a move. I feel Richarlison can finesse something. Everyone else, Van der Beek, well, he's going back to United at least for some period. It is what it is, and Everton are flirting with relegation. I feel Everton have a terrible cocktail. It's like, with Leeds, if they go down, at least you can see there's some togetherness. Watford look nailed on to go down, but they look together as a unit. Burnley look together. Even Norwich look together. I look at Everton, them man look battered, bruised, bunch of individuals. Even the Donnies they brought on in the second half, it looked like man just went around Tottenham and said, who's not a Spurs fan? Do you want to play a game of football? And they just threw Donnies on. I feel the players were terrible. They did not play against Spurs like they're fighting a relegation race, like they're trying to stay in the league. It's almost like they can't see what's in front of their eyes and the severity of the situation. I think Everton's problems are compounded even more when you've got Lampard as a gaffer. I'm sorry, Lampard's not good enough. He's the living, breathing epitome of privilege within football. Only getting jobs because of who he used to be as a footballer, and more specifically who his uncle Harry Redknapp is. And even if he stinks up the place at Everton, he'll find a way to get a new role. I think Everton's players were trash and are trash. Again, Holgate, terrible footballer. Kenny, fair enough, he started off at left back, but out of his depth. Coleman, Seamus Coleman, not got the legs, as shown for the first goal, not got the legs to defend anymore. The centre half's terrible. Pickford, I feel there was one goal that went under him or something, but I kind of feel sorry for him. Everyone else meaty, apart from really Allen. The strikers were just doing bleep tests. They're just meaty. The players are not good enough. They're not playing good enough for themselves. But I just think, on top of the players, how poor they was, and I thought Spurs would have got 10 yesterday. Shout to Harry Kane. He scored some good goals. Son killed them. Sessegnon until he pulled his hammy, had a decent game. Spurs got a clean sheet, got 3 points, and now can focus on United. But Everton, I think what makes it worse, Lampard don't know what he's doing. It genuinely, my brethren who went, again, if you was here for the watch along, I told you one of my guys went to the game. And I booked him after, and we spoke about the game. He was like, he thought Allen was the first shot that they had. He thought, he said he couldn't believe how poor Everton were. He said, Lloris was just counting grass. It was drawing them out, and he was like, it just looked like Lampard just went in there and said, boys, it's Tottenham, go out there. And it's like, obviously that didn't slap. Lampard's not ready for this. He don't look like someone that is on damage limitation. He doesn't look sensible. Your team can't stop conceding. You're going against, Spurs are kind of finding form. We'd all like you to win, but you got to live to fight another day. Why in hell are you going to forget how poor the players are? Did you see how high the line was? You're playing a high line against Son, Harry Kane, and the rest of them, that's where Spurs come alive. Spurs can't break down low blocks. Spurs are hella dangerous on the counter. So why would you not set up 3 at the back, 2 banks of 4, be difficult to break down, frustrate them? You're playing a naive back 4 with players that are shit. Players are not looking over their shoulders. Players are too far apart. Players are getting caught in up the field. Your players are not particularly quick or any more quicker than the standard footballer. So it's not even like they could get you out of trouble in a foot race. There was too much gaps in the team, as well as how he put them out. Lampard showed me you don't know how to fight relegation. You don't know how to accept maybe losing and things like that. Like, even when it got to a certain point, there was a lack of reaction. Most managers, I genuinely believe, would have hooked someone in the first half, but Lampard's out of his depth without a doubt. Spurs quality, nothing I can say bad. Kane doing his thing, Son doing his thing, Doherty looking like a football. I can't lie, they made every Spurs player look top class. Bentancur, Stock rising, Kulusevski enjoying himself, from a Spurs perspective, still in the top 4 shout. This is why I know Arsenal might be flavour of the month. We might have 4th. Nobody's bust out of anyone yet. Spurs are 3 points behind Arsenal. We've got a game in hand on them. Not that it means much. If they beat United, which there's every chance they could, there's a problem there. Obviously, we've got Leicester, but we'll talk about that in the days to come. That's all at the weekend. Spurs quality, Everton complete opposite. In fact, to say complete opposite is a myth. The core is decent, but there was no fight. The only time I saw fight from Everton is when there was a little handbags at half time. Really and truly. I'd take none of them after yesterday. We're just a mess, bro. There's too much to sort out. It starts with the manager they choose to bring in, and we go from there. DG, for some reason, I would trust Arteta to get the best out of Rashford, just how he's doing with Odegaard. I hear it, but Odegaard's actually a baller, like a finger. Rashford's not. Man United squad is full of marketing geniuses. Probably bare brand guys. Bro, my boy was telling me it was Pickford's birthday and the fans were giving him stress. Singing him happy birthday. What happened to Gray? It ran out. That juice ran out. Signing of the season shout ran out, man. He was on, he scored against Arsenal and then his career just No one talks about Everton owners. They're bad. Everything is, bro. Everton's structure's poor. They spend silly money. They bought Iwobi for 30-odd million. They bought Sigurdsson for 50 million. Where is he? I don't even think Decore was decent yesterday. I see him, but I think literally only Allen was decent. Like, anyone who come off the subs bench, I'll allow you. I'll somewhat allow Kenny because he just looked out of his depth. Everyone else, meaty. And if Spurs really wanted it, they could have scored a lot more. And when I see things like that, you might as well have kept Rafa Benitez because at least he would have. I genuinely saw no game plan. Like, you're playing with fire. It's like being an injured deer and you're going into the jungle and you know that there's lions and that about. So you're just going to stay in the middle of a field. You're not going to last in it. That's what it looked like. It's like you wanted to be savaged. It's like Spurs were hungry lions and you wanted to get savaged. DG vision for players is key. Cooler looking clean. I told you. The only thing with Kulusevski, he's just soft. Like, you see the Middlesbrough game, he's not really on it like them sort of games there and whatnot. But he's a cultured baller. He seems to keep getting goals and assists. Son could have had a hat trick for himself. That Kane goal was dirty. The ball from Doherty was one thing, but Kane it's almost like anyone that understands ball knows You can probably score that if you lace it, if you leng it, but you have to. It's not that he planned it, but just from Kane miskicking it slightly, that's helped it go in. I think Pickford can finesse a move. Bro, Lampard's one of them. Lampard don't care. Lampard's going to get rubbed out at Everton. And I would like Everton to stay in the league, so I hope he turns it around. But he's going to get rubbed out at Everton, and then he's going to get a new job and whatnot. Rafa had a perfect game plan against us in the reverse fixture. They should have won that match. Oh, Lamps, from what I saw, Lamps don't know about when jobs are on the line and all them things. I don't agree, you know. I can't believe the hype Gordon's getting off yesterday. I see him. I know it's very much an English thing when you're losing or you're getting battered to fly around, start putting in tackles. But I don't see it. I didn't see it yesterday, admittedly. Like he won a couple tackles in the second half, played two passes. You know, he dives in that. He tries to rattle, man. Fair enough. You could see that he wanted it a bit more, but yeah, man, I don't think he was 30 yesterday. Still, he just seems like a bit of a prick. Like he's someone that you just want a 2 foot. He seems like a cunt. Someone said he looks like someone's nan as well. If Southgate had sense, unbiasedly, he can't pick Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Rashford, Bamford, Gordon Meady, bro. Like T, bro. Nah, man. He's all right, but Gordon's all right. I don't think he's dead, but nah, man, that he was dead. Like only Allen for me, really, and even Allen's thing was kind of media as well. Like from your number 6 is doing playmaking, it's a myth. What I didn't see from Lampard is you didn't do your research on Spurs. You know they can't break down a low block, so why would you be expansive? At least from the start, you know, at least first 20, be a bit compact. Didn't do that. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Credit to Spurs. I would say commiserations to Everton fans that the players, bro, Lampard as well, to be fair, but them and they should have been made to get the bus home. They should have been made to walk to Seven Sisters Station and then go from Victoria Line to Euston. If you make the last train, you make the last train back to Liverpool Lime Street. You know, that's what they needed, really, car. Obviously, I think the players care. I don't think players go out there to get smacked up and things, but Meady. Oh, Ramsey's 30. Well, if it will let me bring up your question, your stuff. Ramsey's 30. I'd sack Frank now. I'm bringing him, bro. You might have to bring in Big Sam. Because Everton, for me, it's the spirit thing. Like, Everton look divided, bro. Like, at least Leeds could still go down. They have got togetherness. You know, everybody around Everton fighting to stay in the division has togetherness. These men look fractured, bro. They might have to grab one of these men, you know. Lampard, he looked like he just turns up and says, lads, it's Spurs. I'm Frankie Lampard. Let's go out and play football. He looked baffled on the side. How do you look more baffled than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? How do you look more baffled than Ryan Mason? He's a madman. Got the Derby job based on who you are. Got the Chelsea job on no real managerial merit. Why you've been handed the Everton job, I don't know, but you've got it. And boy, I want Everton to stay up, but myth, man. Ramsey's 30, man. At this moment, Duncan Ferguson, at least, I swear he had the role for a second. We'll see a little togetherness thing or something from him. Lampard, it just seems like, honestly, Lampard, what he should have done at halftime is put on his boots, because I'm sure at least he would have mashed up the clean sheet or made a half-decent run off the ball and whatnot. He didn't do that. And with that being said, Arsenal remain fourth, you know, to be fair, Chelsea 53 points. Come on, Norwich on Thursday. Come on, Norwich. Obviously, the league table, Manchester City first, second is Liverpool, third is Chelsea, fourth is Arsenal, fifth, a point in front of Manchester United, with a couple of games in hand on them, 47. West Ham United are on 45 with 28. Spurs are on 45. So this is why I said you can't keep getting gassed. You know, there's a long way to go in the title race as well, but obviously within the league, like if you look at the people who have played 28 times, you know, there's 10 games left, 10 cup finals, really. Well, our goal difference plus 12. And that's probably something that helps Spurs as well, patterning the goal difference as well, plus 8 yesterday. But hey, Everton, I can't lie, I want Burnley to go down, people, but I back Burnley to finesse their way out of that. You know, Everton have 1 win in 5. Burnley have 2 wins and a draw in their last 5 games. Burnley have played 1 more game than Everton, and they're 1 goal behind them. 1 point behind them. Everton are 17th. I do think Everton survive, but boy, we've been saying for a time, you know, if you're Brentford, if you're Leeds and Everton, we were saying a few weeks ago, you're kind of lucky that there's 3 teams worse than you this season. But boy, you know, I think Brentford will probably be cool. They're on 27 points. You know, their form isn't the best. 1 win in 5 and a draw with that. Leeds have lost all 5. Everton's form's technically better than Leeds, but Leeds have a new gaffer in Jesse March. I know Lampard's been there 2 seconds as well. So the relegation race is due to be lit. I can't lie. Even though we're forcing it, it feels like this is the most, I don't want to say exciting because it's not the right word, but it's like the Premier League season in a hot minute where there's not really any conclusions drawn. Like we're forcing it, but you've still got a title race with Liverpool and City. You know, you've got a top 4 race again, and if you force it and include Chelsea from 3rd to 8th where Wolves are, that's, you know, top 4 to top 6 is all debatable. Obviously, Crystal Palace are 10th now, so there's a battle to finish in the top half of the table, and then you've got a decent little relegation battle, really. You know, no one's really talking about Brighton's form's been kind of shit, innit? I know they've lost a player, but bro, 4 L's and a win. Crazy. Bro, and this is why Arsenal need to slap themselves. Obviously, for me, the games that we ramped with, we should have beat Everton because we were leading and we dropped points from a winning position. United, you should have got at least a draw because you know you took the lead, then you messed up, then you got yourself back into it, then you messed up again. Burnley couldn't break them down. Brighton away, we didn't turn up. Crystal Palace at home, ramping. Those are 5 games that I feel we should have got something out of, and they're games that I'm going to look at if we don't get to where we need to get to at the end of the season. Everton are too naive with their play. You can't play around the back when you're 4-0 down. So that as well, but it's just, I think it was naivety way before that, bro. I think from the first whistle, like I said, a high line, you know Kane's going to drop. Son and Sessegnon are going to double up. Doherty's going to get forward. You might get a late man run from midfield. You know your players. You look at that Everton defense. None of them strike you as blisteringly quick, like a Kyle Walker or something. If you're a fullback or a defender, why are you going to get into a foot race with Son? And let's just say Son's got the ball. That's one thing. Son's the immediate threat. What's going on off the ball? And like you saw Kane's a very good player. But the goal that they tried to say was offside, which it never was. That highlights how fantastic Kane is. And listen, he's got elite movement. But that's terrible defending, street smartness. Look how he got in between. Kane's on the last man. That's fantastic strike play. But from a defender, they're 2 in behind. The fullbacks are too wide. The centre halves are too wide. And again, couple of them chances, so as I said, Son should have been, I ain't got him in my FPL team, but Son should have been caking for the FPLs. He should have had a hat trick, really. Very naive. Ready to battle Spurs. It's us, United, Arsenal, Wolves, Villa. I mean, not Villa, West Ham. Everyone's fighting for 4th. To be fair, I don't even think Coleman was the worst player. But you need a back 5, bro. This is what I'm saying. Why is Lampard even going forward? I know there's injuries, but you're playing Kenny. Kenny's an old school sort of fullback. He's not comfortable. He ain't got the DG flavor. You will never see. Obviously, let's use this as an example. Listen. Kenny's not trying to go forward. Kenny's going backwards in this. He's not trying to put pressure on Spurs. He's not an attacking fullback, so you're not getting any looks. Things like that is all they needed. But he's not like that. He's going backwards and things. So the way Lampard set them up was just terrible. Bro, they made Doherty. Doherty might even be frauding you Spurs fans to thinking he's say. I missed the Rash talk, but he's probably thinking F this country. Man played with operational injuries for 2 years, used his own bread to feed kids, and is now getting nothing but abuse from everyone. It's true. But that's where he should think, fuck everyone. No one cares. You could feed 100 people and be nice to 100 people. They'll say, but you didn't do it to 101. That's the world it is. And to be fair, no one told you to do that. And I feel sorry for him. But at the same time, you got to remember, no one cares. Nobody loves you when you're doing well. Nobody hates you that much when you're doing bad. Or they've always hated you. Everyone loves you at a price. They're not thingy. They're not hey, rah fatherless. Rah. I know where my daddy is, but I'll become your stepdad if you don't calm that down, bro. I don't know what you're on with that one. But yeah, I just feel Rashford stagnated, really. Like it just comes back to stagnating, really. Like nobody owes you nothing. People love you at a cost. They're not Marcus Rashford fans, they're Man United fans. And obviously it does go over the top. But when you're doing well, they're gonna gash your team. When you're doing bad, they're gonna turn on you. You shoot the same rope you climb up on is the same rope they hang you with. This is why footballers should always do what they want. Peaks too soon. I don't know, man. I just don't think he's ever been that guy, really. And he just, when United fans are comparing him to Kylian and that, you're always gonna be at a disadvantage, aren't you? Brazy. Absolutely brazy. Brazy. Transfer news. What was we doing? We might as well look at some transfer news, people. 1 second, folks. I think party felt like Gucci Man in 2006. Hey, nothing exciting. Hey. Well, to be fair, Rooney was, the Rooney shout, but Rooney being close. Rooney is closer to Messi and Ronaldo than Rashford is to Mbappe. Really, like that was a better shout, really and truly. IQ on the floor, despite having 4 different managers and different styles, plus no coaching development. Exactly, like really and truly, you look at it. What youngsters have really kicked on at Man United? So it's deeper than him, but at the same time, you've got to take responsibility, man. I feel sad for him. I don't feel he leaves. I feel it's a thing where managers throwing their toys out the pram. Woe is me, spoiled child, design that putting pressure on the club to just see where he fits. Apart from that, I think it's a myth. I understand if he genuinely is, he should be at a crossroads again, really. You've come through Man United, you're Mr. Moss side and that, you are going to have these sort of problems. Did you see there's going to be a month when Russian and Ukrainian players can leave for free? Is there anyone you would try to get? I don't know anybody. What if we can grab Malcolm? Why not? If you could get Malcolm on a free. In fact, in terms of other news elsewhere, people, allegedly Wesley Fofana has signed a 5-year deal at Leicester. Unfortunately, Tyler Roberts has been ruled out for 3 months with a hamstring injury for Leeds. Mbappe faces a race against time to be fit for Real Madrid. Chicago Cubs Rickett family considering joining bid to buy Chelsea. Pardon me. So 1 minute you've got, Saudi money and then that. FIFA to allow, if I just read out some of these articles, FIFA allows foreign players to temporarily leave Russia and Ukrainian clubs. I mean, what's that brother from Shakhtar, man? Not Marcus Antonio, something like that. Kind of small Brazilian midfielder. It's kind of lightweight, but I wouldn't mind taking a chance and things like that. But apparently, FIFA is allowing foreign players and coaches to temporarily leave Russian and Ukrainian league clubs and sign for new teams following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The largest player union in the football world, FIFPro, also contacted FIFA asking for foreign players in Russia to be able to leave permanently. Apparently, the Polish FC had also last week asked FIFA to reopen the transfer window for both players in those 2 countries to escape conflict. So, yeah, coaches, players, they can keep it moving. FIFA says players and coaches will be considered out of contract until the 30th of June 2022 and therefore will be at a liberty to sign a contract with another club without facing consequences of any kind. It went on to add that players must register with any new clubs on or before April the 7th. So they've just got under a month and are allowed to do so even if the registration window for teams have otherwise closed. Clubs are entitled to register a maximum of 2 new players using this exception. Over 120 foreign players currently participate in the Russian Premier League, whose clubs obviously have been suspended from international competition by UEFA and FIFA, people. So make of that what you will. Chicago Cubs Ricketts family considering joining bid to buy Chelsea. Apparently, they're considering joining a group of investors in a bid to purchase the club, according to sources. The family would likely have partners in any potential multi-billion-dollar deal, which would involve serious geopolitical considerations amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the maneuverings of Russian oil guard Roman Abramovich, who obviously still technically owns Chelsea, but is trying to keep it moving, people. So, yeah, apparently the Ricketts family have been involved in these type of transactions in recent years. According to sources familiar with the family's long-term thinking, they're looking for a big-name club at good value, most notably pursuing AC Milan in 2018. Apparently, and this is what they are saying, Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts is a soccer fan. You said soccer, it's a myth. Is a soccer fan who once held an ownership stake in Derby County. The Chelsea decision, however, will be made at family level, much in the same way that Ricketts organized their $845 million deal for the Cubs. So, yeah, it is what it is, people. 1 minute Saudi, next minute American. For what it's worth, Mexico have suspended 5 state officials over the fan violence at Atlas versus Quintero game, which obviously saw a number of players and people, well, not players, people injured, better yet. Everton would be fools to not understand the gravity of the situation, says Lampard. A lot of them probably know, you know what, mate, I'm going to go to this foreign club. I'm going to go to this Prem team. Not that I think many of you can get moves, but when I look at it without a bias, I do think, you know, Allen will get a move. Pickford can get a move. Richarlison will move. They should have took the Barca money when they had the chance. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will get a move, you know. Dele Alli and Iwobi, I think you lot just need to cool off, you know, and just accept the mediocre. Ben Godfrey, I feel, could scheme on a move, even though he didn't play. Holgate, you're probably lucky to be classed as a championship player now, man. You're bordering on League One. And I know Everton are talking about a new stadium. It's a bit of a myth. It seems like the Ricketts family are just trying to do everything, man. You know, it sounds from what you lot are saying, it sounds like they're just capping. Shout out to everyone watching the ads. Lampard said, the players understand the gravity of the situation. They understood it before I arrived because they've been on a long run without a win. You'd have to be a fool not to understand it. I am confident that doesn't mean anything. I didn't walk into the building with a magic wand. I'm absolutely confident. That is why I'm here. The feeling at this club when I came here was that we could be going down. It was clear around the city. It was up to me to change that, and I thought we had changed that. But this is a test of that. The only positive thing is that it could be a jolt and a shock. Sunday afternoon sees Everton against Wolves, people. Boy, crazy. They're gassing this up. Football is about being resilient. Anthony Gordon was our standout player because of his attitude and quality. Some other performances were not up to scratch. I won't name names. Brother, you need to name names. You men are fighting relegation. You need to get onto them. I don't agree with that. I mean, no love for Allen, innit? I don't know where this article's gone on to talk about a bright start in the opening 15 minutes. I mean, let's say the opening 2 minutes. You bang 2 balls over the top into the channel and Richarlison could have done something, but that was meaty. That was meaty. I don't know about any of that. Cap, and more cap. Let's get into some transfer business. How much Ashley sell Newcastle? Not a clue. What else are you lot saying, people? Come on. Facts DG's realizing that now man tried to do the right thing. Bro, you can't. What these footballers need to understand, bro, these man love you at a cost, bro. You know, it's like Arsenal. Saka's form kind of went down the toilet at the start of the season. You see man coming out. Man now, probably Arsenal fans as well as we know what England fans were carrying on with. No one cared watching Mr. Penny. No one cared about Sancho or Rashford. These men they don't love you. They love what you can do. They love what you do on a match day. They don't love you. Very few football fans love you when things are going wrong. You always hear me talk about the honeymoon period, when everybody loves you, when everybody is wild. But in life, that same energy, it flips. This is why when you're doing well, don't get gassed. When you're doing bad, you're never as bad as you think you are. For Rashford, football means the world to him. Football means the world to you. Football definitely means the world to me. It's more important than life. But at the same time, it's just a game. You're playing football. You're not, you had a bad game. So what? You didn't score. So what? It's not like you're doing open heart surgery or, you're doing humanitarian efforts where you're seeing how fucked the world is. You're playing a game of football. The sun's gonna be, the sun's gonna shine one day, the sun isn't. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. As much as we need to believe that it's the most important thing, it's more, listen, winning, and when I say winning, I mean being the best you can be is more important than breathing. At the same time, you've got to remember it's just a game of football. Rashford needs to remember why the hell he wanted to be a footballer, especially when you get into scenarios like this. Before the fans and all this toss, you remember that young lad who just enjoyed loving football, and don't lose that childlike enthusiasm in you. Keep that in you. Don't let the world silence that spark, is what I would say. But anyways, man, it's peak for Rashford at this moment in time. Oh, he found out Gucci Man in 2006. I don't know that guy. Boy, until he tries to finesse it. But to be fair, Leicester stood by Fofana while he's injured. So why not, man? Everton falls for starting 2 terrible right backs in Kenny and Coleman, despite having young Livramento cloning Patterson on the bench. But hey. And I don't think he loves them unconditionally, guy. He's not thinking. I think Rashford needs a change. United aren't working for some of these guys. Lingard went to West Ham and bang, now back at United. Nothing. Also, the guy played last season injured and went to the Euros instead of having an operation and rehab. No brain. And that's the whole point. And that goes for all players, not just Rashford. Even Harry Kane, when the world was telling you, now they're telling you you're back. But when they were telling you you're shit, you're done for, you don't care. Remember what he is. it's difficult, but yeah, man. Obviously, looking at some of this transfer stuff, people. Let's see what Goal.com is saying. Dembele is open to the idea of staying at Barcelona. Barca remain Dembele's priority right now. Lol, the history of the Tottenham and PSG have been interested parties. And Laporte, hella propaganda. I hope Dembele reconsiders Barca's renewal. I can't lie, you lot tried to pressure on it, didn't bang. Fuck, you know how much talk about Dembele is there? Chelsea are trying to chat to him. Xavi's asked the fans not to boo him. He was included in the squad for the Atletico Madrid game. Brother, what's going on? Is this just Dembele? What the bro? There must be something to do. All okay. So where's just normal transfer news, man? About to say, what's all of this Dembele stuff? Is he the only guy in the world? Manchester United have made contact with Richarlison, people. Mikoko wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. Let's get that done. Inter Milan and Ajax are keen on Luis Suarez. Bayern Munich are planning talks with Spence. Quite a come up for him. Ronaldo could leave Manchester United and they're looking at Richarlison. We spoke about this yesterday. Arsenal want Paqueta. Talisca, right? He still kick ball. Besiktas want him. Fair enough. Juventus could give up on trying to tie down Dybala. PSG wanted Rashford last summer. Laporte has said they're trying to get Arojo and Gavi new deals. We're going to speak about this at 11:30. Don't forget, folks. One love to those of you that are locked in already. And they said, yo, all right. It's a long game that we're playing. Fair enough. Where is it gone now? We spoke about it. As I said, Saudi consortium enter race to buy Chelsea from Roman Abramovich, people. So we kind of spoke about this, but you got Saudi money, you got American money, you got all of this stuff. March has been defended from Ted Lasso comparisons by Friedel after Bangladesh labeled him cringy. Have you seen your Premier League goal scoring record, Gabby? If he has a struggle or a difficult time at Leeds, it's not because he's American. It's because he's taken over a team that's low on confidence, that's been in free fall. Just his knowledge of football is just as good as any Europeans. Just because his accent's a little bit different, it's not going to make him a bad coach. The players will respect him. They like him. His training sessions are very good. By no means will he be anything similar. Comes in and doesn't speak English at all and has a translator. Why wouldn't you give him the same grief that you give an American? I don't think it's nice, but I mean, that's because obviously, typically, we know soccer isn't your biggest sport, and I don't like it because it, for obvious reasons, it isn't well. But yeah, man, Gabby has said, I know he doesn't want to be like Ted Lasso, but even the players were looking at him like, what's he doing? To be fair, that huddle thing was a bit cringy. Do it in the change rooms, do it in the middle of the pitch was so cringy. And honestly, the players would have been thinking the same, maybe, but what's cringier than that? Where you are being at the foot of the table. So it is what it is. Klopp says Man City would have been Premier League champions in February without Liverpool. And they're pushing each other to insane levels. That's true, but I mean, I've never seen anyone happy to be second best. Back to this transfer stuff, though, folks. And yeah, it's the same old nonsense. It's just BS, really, ain't it? What's going on in the world of Sky Sports? Is there anything else? Barca expected to break women's club world attendance record. Shout out to that. The game's growing. Scotland's World Cup playoff versus Ukraine has been postponed. Crazy. That is what it is. Let's see what BBC has to say about transfers. Ronaldo will target a move to PSG, which could see him link up with Messi. Talk about retirement home. Arsenal, Newcastle, West Ham are considering Rashford. PSG will attempt to sign Rashford if Mbappe joins Madrid. Manchester City and Real Madrid are the front runners for Haaland. New York Jets owner is preparing to buy Chelsea. Every week, someone's trying to buy Chelsea. That's 2 Americans and a Saudi group now. Allegedly, Newcastle have opened talks with Real Madrid over signing Eden Hazard, who's expected to leave in the summer. His brother said he's going to stay. Christensen's agreed a free transfer to Barcelona. So yeah, man, and Nkunku could cost about 62 million, which could be the price. Allegedly Martinelli wants to stay and fight for trophies. Yeah, you do in your early 20s. Let's see in a couple of years. Spence is being linked with Bayern Munich. We're relaying the same articles, really. So yeah, man. Have you seen what Fab tweeted about Spence? Nah, just started Bayern Munich are onto him, innit, really. Apparently, United's Players called Rangnick's assistant Lasso too. Stuff is pretty disrespectful. Hella disrespectful. Crazy, man. It's quite sad, really. And it just feels like player power. Player power is a strong thing, but for me, have all the player power when you want, when it's abundantly clear that you're doing your job. For me, if you're playing shit, you can't moan at the manager. And that's the thing. It's always blame the manager, which is sad in today's day and age, man. It's quite sad. Big up everybody tuned in nonetheless, though, man. Large up you lot. It's quite shocking. Man said, come on, City. Here we go again, Klopp. So we see what else is affecting the world of football quickly. Big up you lot. Don't forget, people, 11:30, we head over to YouTube. I don't really want to talk about Rashford again, but yeah, we're going over there 11:30 still. What's the time now? I need to get some brekkie as well. Some brekkie, lad. Let's go on tribal football. You know me, I love a tribal football. Oh, shit. That's annoying. Very annoying. That, sorry, folks, that's irrelevant to you lot, but yeah, nothing really. Nothing in the world of football, man. Yeah, man. Slow news day, man. Slow news day. It seems like there's nothing else. Is March clear of lamps? I think he's. I don't know for clear, but even though I'm not watching you up closely, I have you as a better manager right now than Lampard because at least you've had to earn stuff. What has Lampard earned, bro? Like, man just sat there waffling like he had all the ideas on Sky Sports, got the shit Derby job, stunk up the place at Derby. You know, his privilege, whether it's, you know, due to the dynamics in society / in football, part of the, on top of that privilege, the privilege of who he was and the privilege of his uncle, all of that mixed together, saw him get the Derby job, get the Chelsea job for no reason, you know, really based on who he was as a player. The minute there was time to do stuff, stunk up the place, stinking up the place at Everton. You know, I've never seen someone consistently rewarded for being mediocre and failing, like, consistently. Fair enough, though, man. That's how the world works, isn't it? You know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And in his case, he knows a lot of people that are able to influence things for him, people. So it is what it is in that regards, man. Crazy. So yeah, man. On that note, though, I can't lie, people. I'm gonna go get some breakfast, man. I think we've spoken about, you know, Everton stinking up the place. We've touched on Rashford. You know, we've touched on just anything there is in relation to football. Don't forget, I'm going live at 11:30 on YouTube. If you can't be there for that, then this evening, you know, 7:30 p.m. UK time, we're gonna start our watch along for the Champions League. It's Liverpool against Inter Milan, people. So make sure you're all there for that one. On that note, you lot stay blessed, stay safe. I'm out.
There's always just that active red light defending. I think it's like